University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill at the age of 16. He started at the age of 12, having been through high school at that point, and 4 years later, he graduated in 1916. From there, he went to the Naval Academy, because World War I was on its way. That was 1916. And he enlisted in the Navy. Actually, he got an appointment to the Navy. Went 2 years. At that point, the war was ending, and he didn't wish to have a naval career, so he requested and was granted honorable permission to resign from the Navy. He left there and went on up to Cambridge, Massachusetts, where they had at that time, he thought, an excellent school of law. It's called Harvard. He found out differently. But at any rate, he enrolled in Harvard Law School, and not too long after he began his career at Harvard Law School, he came face-to-face, or head-to-head, or toe-to-toe, or however you want to describe it, with Felix Frankfurter. Now, Felix Frankfurter was a dyed-in-the-wool socialist, and he propounded the theory that labor and management were always in conflict. Well, that didn't sit well with Dad. He thought that was a bunch of junk, because he felt that production was the result of labor and management cooperating. And this led to a number of rather heated discussions between Dad and Felix Frankfurter, and he finally left Harvard because of that. Well, the title of the call, as I told you, it was given to me, was the Robert Welch Heritage. But I changed it to Growing Up with Dad, because that's really what I'm going to talk about. However, I did look in the dictionary to find out what heritage meant. And the first thing I discovered, that it was property that descends to an heir. Well, I wasn't left any property that I can recall anyway. However, there were other definitions, and I looked at those, and the first one was a legacy. Well, then we began thinking about the principles, and another was inheritance, and the third was tradition. So all of that brought me to the point of what were the principles that my dad stood for, or our dad stood for. And not necessarily in the order of importance, but in the order in which I have them on the slides. The very first one was education. He considered education a critical aspect of everything you do. And as you all know, education is the only weapon of the John Birch Society. Without it, you will not succeed. He based his whole effort on educating people so that they would have an understanding of what was happening to this great country, the one he loved so dearly and for which he was willing to fight and die. Second thing that he had was integrity. He felt that intellectual honesty, moral fiber, and character were critical for any individual. He said that they all combined to make a real person, and a real person is one who has integrity. As you all know, the beauty of telling truth is that you don't have to have a good memory. The truth stays with you, and you may use it at all times. But those who lie must have a good memory or run. At any rate, the other aspect of the truth and integrity is that integrity is something you have even when no one is looking. The third thing was focus. Some people call it concentration. Dad never lost his focus. Once he started down the road, he stayed with it, whatever it was, and you'll see more about that later. But in terms of John Birch Society, once he began the society in Indianapolis, he never took his eye off that focus. He maintained it indefinitely, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year. He would come to our house at times for a dinner, and he would have to leave after dinner because he was going going back to the office. So he stayed focused. The fourth thing was organization. He believed that if you weren't organized, you couldn't succeed. And that means personal organization as well as a business or professional organization. You must stay organized, you must get organized, and you must continuously work at being organized. He did. He organized many, many things, and he put them all together to create the society. One of the points that he would make is that line in nature is not found. Unit and universe are round. Now that's not his, that's not original with him, but if you think about it, you'll understand why he used it so often. Well, the John Birch Society is testimony to his idea of organization and the critical part it plays in pursuing legitimate purposes regardless of the blocks and confrontations encountered as it seeks to grow and educate. The fifth thing was energy. He felt that you had to have boundless energy. Now, a lot of you will say automatically, boy, I don't feel like doing that. Well, Dad had the ability to take cat naps at almost any time or any place. And as I said before, he came out to our house to have dinner. We might be doing something before we were going to have dinner. We'd walk into the living room and he'd be asleep on the couch. He was taking his cat nap before he had dinner and then go back to the office, do more work. As a kid growing up, my maternal grandfather used to say to me, "Kid, you like work so well you could lie right down beside it and go to sleep." Well, that wasn't the case with my dad, even though he could sleep at the drop of a hat. He worked the 16 hours a day or more every day of his life. And that cat nap was the thing that saved him. Well, what else did I inherit? I inherited an appreciation of many things. Math? Yes, I enjoy math. I did well in math. History? Yes, I majored in American history. Science? Well, I didn't do well in that, but I wound up at the Signal Corps and I built radios and all kinds of field equipment. Poetry? Yes, I enjoy poetry. I'll tell you more about that. Travel? Yes, we did travel. Sports? I do play golf and I do play tennis. Good? Nobody accused me of it. And humor. He felt that that was important, and so do I. You need to remember one thing, that when you laugh, you relax. If you cry, you do not. If you argue, you do not. When you laugh, your entire body rejuvenates. I've always felt that you should have a joke every day. So it's important for you to laugh. Just keep it in mind. We used to tell our employees in the advertising business, smile before you answer the phone. You'll be surprised what a difference it makes in the way you speak to someone over the phone. Try it. See what you get for a reaction. Well, the excitement of learning, which was something that Dad had, and my mother made sure that both my brother and I were exposed to all kinds of subjects, ideas, views, you name it. Nothing was beyond the realm of possibility or worth trying. We were encouraged to try whatever interested us. And to show you how far afield that can go, at one point, as a kid growing up, we went to the Shipstad and Johnson ice show, ice volley. I saw that the people there could do more with the figure skate than you could do with a hockey skate. So I said, I think I'd like to try that. So that Christmas, they gave me a pair of figure skates. Well, that led to taking lessons. So when I was at Belmont Hill School, they allowed me to leave the school in the afternoon to go down to the Skating Club of Boston and take lessons in figure skating. So I learned to do the figure eights and the serpentines and all of that and do some of the jumps. And finally, when I got through with World War II, and came back, I had a partner, and we literally competed in the National Skating Championships of the United States. We did not